Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Gunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Gunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Someone else playing? Someone else singing as well? Hare Krishna. Thank you everyone for coming today to ISKCON Stoke Sunday Feast program. Before we start, we'll just sing some prayers to honor our teachers from the past. Today's topic of today's class is exams of life, because we just had A-level results come out last week, or this week, and GCSE results are coming out next week, so I thought it'd be a fitting topic, because everybody sees exams in life, everyone sees tests. Tests never end. So we'll talk about how to deal with those things. If we could have the Mangalacharan on the screen for everybody to follow. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Agyantimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapalakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Van Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Takanchana Gaurangi Radhe Brindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Brinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So as I said, today we are going to speak about the tests and exams of life and how to pass them. I saw in the news recently that because of COVID, a lot of the students weren't so used to the exams that they had for A-levels. And some of them weren't so happy. But now we'll try and find the solution for the exams of life so that we pass and excel in them definitely. So first, when we talk about the exams of life, first we have to identify and examine or analyze what life is like. First we need to scope out what is life like. So when we think of an ordinary life that all the exams are for and are usually in, an ordinary life, what would that consist of? Prabhujis, if you would like, you can sit on the mat. It's much better to sit on mats than on the side. I don't bite. It's said in Shastra when we're listening to classes and lectures, it's better to be comfortable when we're sitting down. So if we sit on a bare floor, it's harder to concentrate. So that's why I say. So if we look at an ordinary life, what does an ordinary life consist of? Someone is born, their parents bring them up. I'm sure everyone has experienced this. Their parents bring them up, and they go to primary school, then they go to secondary school. And they're in secondary school, they study hard in their GCSEs. They study very hard, there's lots of stress. Exams come around, so much stress because of that. Then they try to get into a college or sixth form. Then they study even harder for their A-levels or whatever exams they have then. And it's said that A-levels is the hardest kind of section of your educational life, even harder than university, some people say. So they study hard for that. And then what? They study hard for their A-levels. Why? Because they can get into a good university. And then they go to university and they study harder. And there's more stress and more things to think about. And then they study well so they can get a degree. Why do they get a degree? So that we can get a good job. Why do we try to get a good job? So we can get some money. Why do we try to get some money? So we can get, any things that we want. Please our desires. If we want to start a family, we get some money so we can provide for the family. But why do we provide for the family? So you can have some kids, and then you provide for the kids, and then they go to primary school, and they go to high school, and then it's loop after loop after loop after loop. That is life. That is ordinary life. And people say, enjoy the journey, while it's going through. But doesn't it seem a little monotonous? Doesn't it seem a little boring? Doesn't it seem a little repetitive? That happens over and over again, What's the goal? Just to be happy while we're doing this? Is it true that by this process, is it true that we just are happy all the time? Is it true that we are pleasing all our desires? Is it true that there will be no bumps in the road with this process? No. Everyone faces calamities, everyone faces obstacles. But it's nice to know this when we are young. I see there's some young people in the audience. If we know this, then we can plan ahead and plan better for this. So in a normal life, an ordinary life, we face all these obstacles. And during this life, there are so many obstacles and miseries and things that happen on the road, right? Oh, tax. The government's taking some money out. I wanted to have all of it. I don't feel so good about that. When I'm in school, my teacher, they left the school. I'm not getting taught by them anymore. What do I do now? I have a new teacher. I have to adapt to them. I have to work even harder. Working hard, studying hard. So we can argue those miseries are there, In the Gita, in one of the verses, I was actually thinking of referencing that verse today. Just trying to find the verse now. I thought in normal class style, we can recite a verse together. It's a nice exercise. Atamohan Prabhu, can we get Veda base, Bhagavad Gita verse 8.15? I thought it's a nice exercise. In most Bhagavatam classes or Gita classes, what we try to do is we do an exercise where we all read out some Sanskrit together so that we can connect with the verse more. The Gita is full of wisdom, full of lessons. It's a manual of life, some people say. So if we want, it's like a textbook for life. The life is the exam and the textbook is what we learn from to pass. It's nice to recite verses in a class because some people say, why learn in Sanskrit? Why recite Sanskrit? Why can't I just read the translation and get on with it? But actually, with Sanskrit, if you read it out and learn it properly, you connect with the words way more. The wisdom is more juicy. People realize. Anyone here who speaks a second language apart from English, some people may say, when I was a kid, I used to have to translate for my friends sometimes when they would ask about Gujarati or something like that. I would find it difficult to say it in English. It wasn't the same. It's not the same feeling, not the same translation. There are some differences there. So if we try to recite some Sanskrit together. 8:15. So if we try to learn the Sanskrit, then it seems more juicier. You get more juice out of it. So the way the exercise would work is that I will say a line, and then you have to follow after me. Okay? Just like kirtan. Actually, I'll say word for word. You can say after me, and then, that'll be easier. Mam upetya punar janma dukkalayam ashashvatam napnuvanti mahatmanaha samsiddhim paramam Kataha Mam upetya punarjanma Dukalayam ashashvatam Napnuvanti mahatmanaha Samsiddhim paramam gataha Mam upetya punarjanma Dukalayam ashashvatam Napnuvanti mahatmanaha Samsiddhim paramam gataha Mamupetya punarjanma Dukalayam ashashvatam Napnuvanti mahatmanaha Samsiddhim paramam gataha. Does anybody else want to try and lead? Have a go. Mamupetya punarjanma Dukalayam ashashvatam Anyone else? Janma Dukalayam ashashvatam Napnuvanti mahatmana Samsiddhim paramam gataha. Anyone else? Mamupetya punarjanma Dukalayam ashashvatam Napnuvanti mahatmanaha Samsiddhim paramam gataha. Check. Amazing. Now we'll go to the word-for-word translation. You can scroll down a little. So repeat after me. Mam, me. Upetya, achieving. Punaha, again. Janma, birth. Dukalayam, place of miseries. Ashashvatam, temporary. Na, never. Apnuvanti, attain. Mahatmanaha, the great souls. Samsiddhim, perfection. Paramam, ultimate. Gataha, having achieved. See the translation? Okay. I will read all of it. After attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries, because they have attained the highest perfection. Repeat after me. After attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries, because they have attained the highest perfection. So in this verse we can see one of the main things that are usually quoted from this verse is Dukalayam Ashashvatam. We need to know where these miseries come from. Actually, we can read the purport now. Yeah? I'll read the purport. Since this temporary material world is full of all the miseries of birth, old age, disease, and death, naturally he who achieves the highest perfection and attains the supreme planet, Krishna Loka, Goloka Vrindavan, does not wish to return. The supreme planet is described in the Vedic literature as Avyakta and Akshara and Parama, Gati. In other words, that planet is beyond our material vision, and it is inexplicable, but it is the highest goal, the destination for the Mahatmas, great souls. The Mahatmas receive transcendental messages from the realized devotees and thus gradually develop devotional service in Krishna consciousness and become so absorbed in transcendental service that they no longer desire elevation to any of the material planets, nor do they even want to be transferred to any spiritual planet. They only want Krishna and Krishna's association and nothing else. That is the highest perfection of life. This verse specifically mentions the personalist devotees of the Supreme Lord Krishna. These devotees in Krishna consciousness achieve the highest perfection of life. In other words, they are the supreme souls. Srila Prabhupada the key. So in this verse, Prabhupada puts in his purport, he's talking about the great souls who pass the test of this world, pass the test of this life. And in this verse it's also described what this material world is like. Our goal is to get to the spiritual world, but we are in the material world. So the test is getting there. How do we do it? There's many ways, we'll go through them. But the main thing I wanted to identify from this verse is the characteristics, two characteristics of this material world. Dukalayam and Ashashvatam. So many miseries. We just spoke about how many miseries there were. But the main two categories they come in is Dukalayam and Ashashvatam. This world is a place of miseries. Dukalayam. Duk. It's always miserable. Everything is miserable. Even just life in general. Forget any actions. Forget any subcategories of actions. Birth, old age, disease, and death. Those are the stages of life. You're born. Does the baby, are they usually peaceful when they come out the womb, when they're born? No, they just cry. They're crying. Why? Is it happy? No, they are here in this material world. Old age. I don't know yet, but my father, can you say old age is getting a little tough? Is there a little bit of miseries? Yes, there are miseries. Disease. Every time you get a cold, forget about big diseases, even just a normal cold. I was ill recently after I came back from a holiday, and just a simple cold, a sniff, a blocked nose and a cough. And you're thinking, oh Krishna, I wish I appreciated those times where I was healthy before, you know. And then when you're healthy, you forget about it. You're not appreciative of it. And we forget over and over again. You get a cold, be like, oh, I wish I was healthy. When you're healthy, you don't say, oh, I wish I don't get a cold. You just say, oh, forget it. So a disease, when you are sick, when you are ill, this body has so many things that go wrong as it gets older. So it gets older, and then death. Death, you know, everyone fears. It said that death is the... You know why people fear death so much? Huh? You don't know what's going to happen after? Any other answers? You're going to lose everything you have. Yeah? Any other answers? Who here is afraid of death? Who here is lying? Oh, no. No, the reason, it said there was a little, what's it called? There was a bit of research done. A poll went out on why people are so, what's the biggest fear people have, So people have so many phobias. Some people are afraid of cats, dogs, bees, and stuff like that, Loads of people, the main thing they said is they're afraid of the dark. Even adults. They said they're afraid of the dark. So they did a little bit more research, these researchers, and they found that the main reason they're scared of the dark is because they don't know what is there. So the people are scared because they don't know what is there. People are scared of not knowing. Similarly, when people don't know what is on the other end of the death spectrum, when you die, people don't know what's going to happen, so they are scared. They don't know. Some people say it completely goes black. Even then, if it completely goes black, you're scared of the dark, so you're scared. So, death is nothing to be afraid of if you know what is on the other end and how to benefit yourself for that other side, how to get the best possible outcome out of that end of death. So what do? Spiritualists, they learn, they read books, they listen to classes, they learn how can I create the best possible outcome for myself. So this world is dukkalayam, full of miseries, smallest things. I stubbed my toe the other day, I was so miserable. And ashashvatam, temporary. Everything is temporary. Everything goes. Your relationships, eventually they go. The body is temporary. It dies. Objects, they wither away. Money goes. Your memory goes. Your hair goes. So everything goes. It's dukkalayam and ashashvatam. Everything is temporary. Your emotions are also temporary. People, they'll make harsh decisions out of their emotion if they're angry. But then the emotion goes and they think, oh, what have I done? So emotions are temporary. Everything is temporary. One of Krishna's name is Hari, one who takes away. Why would Krishna be called the one who takes away? Why is he taking away everything from us? So he can remind us that this world is temporary. It is not a nice place. If everything is taken away from us throughout our life, it's not a nice place. Eventually we have to realize that. How do we realize that? Krishna says, okay, let me take stuff away from you, and eventually you'll realize. I've met people that are homeless on the street, everything taken away from them, yet they're so wise. Why? Because everything has been taken away. Nothing is distracting them anymore. But we shouldn't have to go through that process, that Krishna has to personally hold our hand and show you, okay, everything is temporary, this place is not nice. We should know. It said, people learn from experience. It's one of the best ways to learn. You want to learn properly, you learn from experience, right? Sometimes parents will put their kids in situations where they know It's not a nice place, but they have to experience how bad it is, There's a story of a parent and a kid. There's a fireplace in their house, and the kid wants to touch the fire. The parent says, no, don't touch the fire, you'll get hurt. But the kid, youth, they want to learn from experience, a lot of the time. So the father says, don't put your hand in the fire, you'll get burnt. But the kid still wants to do. So, it's good to learn from experience. You can get burnt. But it's better to learn from hearing, right? Without getting burnt, you listen to your father and you don't get burnt, right? What's even better than learning from hearing? Nothing. It's a trick question. So you learn from hearing. You learn how to do things. What are the lessons in life? How to go through everything. That's why spiritualists read every day. That's why we are getting this wisdom from the Gita, the Bhagavata, from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So we've identified there are so many miseries in this world. There are so many difficulties. Everybody will go through difficulties. That is a fact. But with the difficulties, there has to be some aim of life. No? For an exam, the aim is to get the best possible mark, to pass the exam. Most people, the aim is to pass the exam. So, how do you pass an exam of life? What is the aim of life? Even the people that don't know how to pass the exam, they will try to do it. Out of everybody, even if you don't know about spirituality, you don't know about Krishna consciousness, what is the aim of life? What does everybody yearn for? Does anybody know? Does anybody? To be happy. Yes, exactly. Everybody wants to be happy. Everything you do is for you to be happy. Think about it. Everything you do. The way every one of us is sitting right now, the way I'm sitting right now, I am sitting in this posture because it makes me comfortable. So I can be happier this way. The way I walk, the way I stand, the way I sit down, the way I look at people, it's so I am comfortable within my body. I want some happiness. If it is painful for me, I don't want that, so I will go in a different position. But people don't know. How do you be happy? People will go to parties, people will associate with people that are not doing the right things. They are trying to find what will make me happy. This whole cycle of an ordinary life, primary school, high school, university, money, get a job, get a life, get a family, do over and over and over again. Are people happy? Some people might say, oh, I'm happy. But how do we identify happiness? In Shastra, it is described, there is two things when it comes to happiness. Pleasure and happiness. What is pleasure? Pleasure is that feeling of something good, but it is temporary. Ashashvatam, even happiness is temporary. Happiness is happiness that stays forever. It is always there. The atmosphere is there of you being happy. Pleasure is something that only stays for a few moments and then it goes. What people are doing is that they are misidentifying pleasure for happiness. People say, I want to be happy. Why? So I can buy something nice. I want to get some money so I can buy something. That will give you pleasure for some time. Everyone has experienced this. Once you get to the top of the food chain, once you get all that money, even them, they get depressed. One of the biggest rock stars in the world, or musicians in the world, Michael Jackson, he had everything. Everything. He got bored, so he bought his own theme park, he bought his own pet gorilla chimp or something like that. He got bored with his money. He had everything. It was too easy for him. What did he do in the end? He killed himself. Why? Because it didn't give him happiness. It gave him pleasure. Oh, he got a nice pet. Okay, cool. I got some pleasure from it. I'm going to play with them, but I'm bored now. I've built a theme park in my backyard. I'm going to play with it. I'm going to go on the rides. Now I'm bored. That's not happiness, that's pleasure. If we misidentify pleasure for happiness and we keep doing that throughout our life, we'll never be happy. We'll only create more misery. So we need to identify what is pleasure and what is happiness. So, how do we be happy? That is the question. First, we have to look at the statement, I want to be happy. If someone says, I want to be happy, let's just analyze that statement for a second. Who is I? Of course, a lot of us come from Hindu background or spiritual backgrounds. You know that we know the existence of the soul. We always teach, okay, we are the soul, we're not the body. We say that over and over again. Prabhupada used to hammer this down in his classes all the time. Everyone is thinking, I'm American, I'm English, I'm Indian, but you're not this body, you're the spirit soul. We can say it as many times as we want, but are we believing it? No. We need to believe it. We need to really experience that. Believe, I am not this body, I am the spirit soul. How can we prove the existence of the soul? How can we prove that we are not this body? Let's just look at our identities for a second. When we say I, we refer to our own identity. How do we know we are the soul? See, there are two things. There's a functional identity and a fundamental identity. Recently, a few months ago, we had Chaitanya Charan Prabhu come and give a class, and he spoke about this. A functional identity, let's just give some examples of an identity. How would you identify? What would you identify as? I identify as a 18-year-old boy. Okay, that's an identification. What other identifications are there? Yes? Oh no. Lame? Name. My name is Balram. That is my identification. What else would you identify with? Come on. So many identifications. A child, yes. Your age is an identification. Place where you're from is an identification. My body comes from here. Your job, my occupation. What else? My gender. Everything, exactly. Your relationships. I'm a son to my parents. I'm a friend to my friends. So everything is identification. But are these changing? No? Sometimes they are changing. Sometimes I am the son of someone. Sometimes I am also the friend of someone. Sometimes I'm 18, and then soon I will be 19. These are functional identities that happen so and so, and they go around. But what stays the same? What is the fundamental identity? If you cross out all of these identities, because they do change. So once they change, what is remaining? What identity remains? Is that we are the spirit soul. We are the same person. When I was a kid, I'm the same person as that kid. But I look nothing like them. Our body changes every cell in our body every 7 years. Every single thing. So your body every 7 years is completely different than it was 7 years ago. Can you believe? So are we the same person? Yes, I'm the same person, but my body is completely different. Every single cell is different. So what makes me the same person? The soul. That living being within me. Because I know I'm the same person. But I'm completely different. So we can't identify with the body. That is illogical. Scientifically, that is illogical. So, what can we identify with? The soul. What is the function of the soul? The soul is a spiritual thing. The body is material. For us to please the body with pleasurable things, material things. See, if you have something that is in the spiritual category and the material category, you cannot please something that is spiritual with something that is material. You cannot please something that is material with something spiritual. Well, you can't. Spirituality does for everything. But the main thing that people are missing when they try to please themselves or say they want to be happy, they yearn for material things, but they forget about their spiritual identity. Their spiritual identity is, I am a part and parcel of Krishna, I am a spirit soul, and I want to be happy. But we are forgetting about that. We are starving the soul of spiritual happiness. We have to tick every box. If you're ticking the box of material needs, cool. But if you forget about spirituality, you will never be happy. So how do we please the soul? The soul's function. We cannot please the soul by, let me eat something, and my soul will be happy. No. Your body will be happy. Will your soul? What do we please the soul with? What does the soul usually do to become, a function of the soul is to serve. The soul's identification is someone that serves Krishna. We are part and parcel of Krishna. That's why we see when people serve other people, they get some happiness from that. Because it helps with the soul and the material. Because they remember, this is my function. There is some glimpse of that function seeping through, and it's giving them happiness. No? People that love to give charity work, they give charity work, and then they feel so nice after I'm giving. Every single one of us in this room are serving something. Whoever here is working, who here is working? You're all working, you have a boss, no? You try to serve that boss by doing the jobs that are required, the job that the boss gives you. So you're serving them. Who here has family members? Everyone here has family members, no? What do you try to do? You try to serve the family members. We just established. We try to get money so we can start a family. And try to serve everyone in that family. So when we serve the family, then we get some happiness. Even if you don't have any family members, you don't have a job, what do some people try to do? They'll get a pet. You get a pet in the house and you try to serve them as well. Because we want to serve. Even if you don't have a pet, some people get plants. They want to serve the plants. They want to serve. Everybody wants to serve. You may not accept it, you may not know it, you may not want to accept it, but you want to serve. Everybody here wants to serve. The teachers want to serve the students. The students want to serve the teacher. That is how it is. Everybody here wants to serve. But will we fully get happy from all this service that we're giving? No. Why? Because what is our actual function as souls? To serve Krishna. You might as well water the root, not water the leaf. The creator of everything, Krishna, controls everything. If you please Krishna, you'll automatically become happy. If he becomes happy, then you become happy. And this is a fact. You go to any Krishna conscious temple in the world where they try to serve, you will just see smiles all around. And if you see any misery, then there is some material aspect there. We are in the material world, so there always will be something material here. We are spiritual beings living in a material world. So what do we have to do? We have to do spiritual actions. Make a spiritual environment for ourselves, so that we can be happy. That is why we come here to temple. And say, we don't even believe in a God. Let's say, how is there a God? How is there a being? We can't just, okay, I've told you this now, but if we don't believe in God, I'm not saying have blind faith and then believe. No. We can prove there is God. Don't have blind faith. In many temples around the world now, I see many devotees, a lot of them have blind faith. You have blind faith that there is a God. You go to temple because your parents told you to. And for the rest of your life, for generations and generations and generations, just because of like that. You had no connection there. So how How do we believe there is God? This is not a faith argument. This is a scientific argument. That there is a God. There is a God. Okay? How would you prove anything in science? If you're a scientist, there is a hypothesis, there is an experiment, and then from that experiment you derive a conclusion. From the experiment, what have you proven? Same thing what we are doing. Let's say there is a hypothesis that there is a God. God exists. The experiment, which I will say in a minute, you do. And then you get the conclusion that there is a God. Anyone that has done this experiment and done it properly, if you get the wrong conclusion, then you haven't done it properly. If you do this experiment properly, then you get the proper conclusion, that there is God. Otherwise, temples would stop growing. Communities would stop growing that believe in God. If the conclusion is that there is no God. So what is the experiment? Whenever I do a class, I always bring back to the same principles. A, B, C, D, E. That is how simple the experiment is. I'm not saying be a yogi and go to the Himalayas and meditate there in the snow and bury yourself in a cave. No. We are all working, we are all students, but we can all do the experiment. A, B, C, D. A stands for your association. People say, you are what you eat. Any parents here will say, tell that kid, don't stay with that kid because he's a bad influence. That means if you associate with someone that is doing bad actions and not doing very nice things, then you will become like them. Your association leads to your character. So if we associate with devotees that have proven to themselves that there is a God, then eventually we will be on the right path for the experiment, to be there. Next is B, books. We have so many books. We have so many lectures, so many classes. We have a class every Sunday. If we come and learn from these books and from these lectures and classes, from our philosophy, then we can see, we can delve into the arguments, we can delve into the evidence of God. Who is God? What does He do? What is He like? What does He look like? What does He like? They say, see the main scriptures within Gaudiya Vaishnavism, or just Vaishnavism in general. There is the Gita that I have here. Everyone here knows the Gita. No? We have the Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, and there is also the Chaitanya Charitamrita. These three are like the primary school, high school, and university of education within the Vedas. These are the textbooks you need within this exam of life. It's said that the Gita are the words of God. Okay, you want to know who God is? Okay, listen to His words. This is His exact words in Sanskrit with translation and purport. You want an explanation of His words? We've got it. It said the Srimad Bhagavatam is the actions of God, His pastimes. And it said the Chaitanya Charitamrita is the mind of God. Where do you see I can know about the mind of God? You want to know how God thinks? We've got that information. Where can we say that we know how God thinks? Some people study psychology. Do you study psychology of God? No. So we have this available to us, books. Next is chanting. We have the holy name, the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. It said that the Maha Mantra is non-different from Krishna Himself. His name is non-different from Him. So if we keep associating with the Maha Mantra, then we associate with Krishna Himself. And the more we get in the mindset and more get in the mood, the more we develop our relationship with Krishna, the more we know about him, then we associate him with him better. We can feel him there. You have your own personal relationship with Krishna. You have your own experiences with Krishna. So you have your own relationship. You experience that he's here. You experience God. A, B, C, and you've already experienced God. How simple is it? D, diet, sanctified food that is offered to God. It changes your consciousness as well. First you need to become human before you can become Krishna conscious. First be conscious before you become Krishna conscious. So eat nice food stuff, don't eat junk. Because even with modern day science we say, if you eat junk food, then your mind will be in a different place. It won't be so, conscious. You'll have very bad consciousness. It's hard to concentrate. It's hard to be calm. So A, B, C, D. E. What else is there? E is for engaging in service. If we engage in service, then we are serving. We just established that serving is the only way to be fully happy. Everybody is serving already. We want to serve Krishna? Okay, serve Krishna. We will give you some opportunity. We have a temple full of services to do. And anything you like to do. I like to play mridanga, so I play mridanga. Some people like to cook, so they cook. Some people like to clean, so they clean. Some people like manual labor, so they'll do all the manual labor the temple needs. Krishna will provide. So, with the simple A, B, C, D formula, kids know A, B, C, D, so it's easy for us as well. Association, books, chanting, diet, and engaging in service is a simple process for proving that God exists. I guarantee, all of you, if you do this simple process, then you will realize that God exists. You'll have some experience. And if you don't get the conclusion, there's something wrong in the process. You've missed something. You keep coming here, then we find out what's happened. And simply there is a God. That's how we prove it. And that is how we be happy. That's how you pass the exam of life. With problems in life, there's, with a problem there has to be a solution. The basic economic problem that you learn in economics is that there's unlimited desires and limited resources. In economics, if you study economics in college or university or wherever, the first thing you'll learn is the basic economic problem. The whole of economics within economies and governments relies around this simple problem. Unlimited desires by the consumers, limited resources by the producers. So how do you please the consumers? Does that sound logical? If you have a hole in your floor and it's endless, there is no bottom of the pit, and you have some dirt, a pile of dirt here, it's limited. You try to fill up the hole with that dirt. Will you fill it up? No, it's not logical. So how can we say the basic economic problem, the way that the world works right now, how is that logical? How do you solve the problem? Does anybody know how we can solve this problem? Let's find out today. No? Huh? Stop the base. How do you stop the base? We have unlimited desires and scarce resources. How do we solve the problem? Limit your desires. You learn what you need. You learn what you will need to survive, how to be happy. You don't need that much. Limit your desires. Do you need all this stuff? And then with the limited resources, they get filled up. Hole is filled. This is not taught in schools. This is not taught in economics. This is not how the world works. Why? It's illogical. That's how you be happy. That's how you get all your desires filled. Reduce your desires. And for material problems, if you try and find a solution for it, you'll just create more problems materially. That's how the material world works. In the 1800s and 1900s, it said the main reason the governments and everything and the companies, they pushed the invention of the motor car. Does anybody know why? It's not because we wanted to get places faster. I mean, that was part of the reason. But the main reason they pushed it is because people were complaining in their streets there was so much horse feces because everybody was going by horse. There was so much horse feces on the floor, they couldn't walk properly. They kept trotting in and everything. So they started pushing the invention of the motor car so that there was no more, it was clean streets. But now what is the problem from this material solution? Yeah, there's more cars, there's more pollution. You've cleaned your streets, polluted the skies. Icebergs are melting, sea levels are rising. So with material solutions, there only comes more problems. But with spiritual solutions, and the bottomless pit is filled. And that's how to be happy. That's how you pass the exam of life. Does anybody have any questions on this matter? Engaging in service. Engaging in service. Any challenges? It's good to challenge. In Shastra it said, anybody that challenges and questions, it shows they are thinking about the subject more. So you're all paying attention. If no one has any questions, then I feel like no one's paying attention at all for the entire hour I've been speaking. Anything I've missed, challenge me. Ask a question. Anything I've not been clear on. I'm just an 18-year-old boy on a... yes, Mataji. Yeah. So how do we solve these problems? How do we practice A, B, C, D, E? Even when our families are not so supportive, they're not so attracted to Krishna consciousness as us. How do we practice this? We have so many things going on. Maybe a housewife, you may be a student. How do you practice this? Truth is, all of this is not for just some people that have the time to do it. Krishna consciousness is for everybody. You see in the Bhagavatam how many people are talked about, saintly people are spoke about with so many problems they had. Most people think that saintly people come from a certain manner, they have to be a certain class, Everybody in their family has to be Krishna consciousness. No. Give examples from the Bhagavatam. Prahlad Maharaj, was any of his family devotees? No. His family were demons. Yet he's one of the Mahajans. Other people. Dhruva Maharaj, his stepmother pretty much kicked him off his father's lap and told him not to sit on there anymore. He was pretty much getting abused by his stepmother. His family was not so supportive. So all these things are there, these situations are there in our scriptures. So how to deal with specific situations. Come to temple. We have Sunday feast program once a week. So at least something is there. That completes your association. All of us here are seeking the same thing. Some spiritual happiness has to be there. So all of us are the right association here. There's association done. Books, whatever free time you have, If you can't read a book, listen to a class. YouTube has so many classes online. But reading books is good as well. Chanting, I used to have no time when I was studying. I used to have no time for chanting. So what I do on the way to school, I would just chant, and on the way back I would chant as well. Eating prasadam. Sometimes that's one of the most hardest ones because family, they don't eat prasadam sometimes. But you just have to try as much as possible what to do. Once, when I was at a I think it was a Janmashtami festival in Manchester, I was speaking to someone, and they were speaking about Krishna consciousness, and then suddenly they turned on me. And then they started saying, I supported all the demons that Krishna went against. I was like, what? So, I supported Hiranyakashipu. I think he was in the right. Ravana, he was in the right. Krishna was just bothering him. And I was like, well, how could you argue this? So I was giving an example. I was giving an argument. Okay, you can't say this because Krishna was on the right side. Now the Pandavas were there, but the Kauravas were on the right side, not Krishna. I was like, okay. So I was trying to explain to him, how everything works. What is morality? Why are they not in the right? But he wasn't stepping down at all. So I was like, oh my God, what do I do? This guy's just, he's bothering me now. I'm trying to explain, but he's not accepting anything I'm saying. So after some time I said, oh, it's okay. I believe you. Just come, let's have some prasadam. That's what I said. And he had some prasadam. Because sometimes their consciousness will not be in the right position. So what do we do? Before someone can become Krishna conscious, they have to become conscious first. So with prasadam, it has a direct effect on our consciousness. You eat junk food, your mind will be like junk. You eat healthy food, your mind will be healthy. Your brain will work that way. Scientifically proven. So I gave him some prasadam, and with Krishna prasadam, it has even better effect on your mind and your body. So I just said, have some prasadam, and something will be there, some effect is there. So with problems in family life, just have to try, I can speak more in detail afterwards, if you need. But that is that. See, there are 4 stages of a life. There's brahmachari life, grahastha, vanaprastha, and sannyas. Grahastha is a bona fide stage of your life. For spirituality, for spiritual life, or whatever. You will go through grahastha life. So even a spiritualist, in a family that doesn't support spirituality so much, grahastha is there. Spirituality can be practiced by all, stages of life. It's for everybody. But for specific problems, we can talk after that. Yeah? Anybody else? Okay, no worries. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Balram spoke about passing the exams because he just came out of the exams, the A levels. We were so last few months completely in studying, and the students, they have their own tension, but many times the parents have more tension than the student. How will my student do? How will my child do in the exam? How will he going to fare after the exam? So in our life, we always have exams. Right? We are born till we die. So in his own way, he was trying to explain that how by passing just one exam, the exams of life, if we can pass that exam, we never have to appear for any exam ever. How many of you like to go for exam again? how many of our, qualified PhDs or, some graduates, how many of you like to go to the school and learn ABCD again? Anyone? No? We never want to give an exam again because it's very stressful. So Krishna tells us, that, come back to me, no more exams. But for that you have to pass one exam. The exam of giving up our attitude or our insistence to be miserable in this world. This is our only difficulty. So he spoke, on some points about, A, B, C, D, E, and then, how we can pass this exam. So our whole temple is all about passing this exam. So we all come together and, help each other. Very thoughtful question about Mataji, that you can do A, B, C, D about, personal life, but when you live with the family, how we can practice A, B, C, D, E. These are practical questions. Now how do we answer those questions? By coming together, by helping each other. We ask the same questions to person who has already passed those exams, already done those, those questions answered. So I request all of you to please, come together in the temple, and together we can pass this exam of life very easily. The good thing about this exam is that you're allowed to copy. In exam you're not allowed to copy, but in Krishna conscious exam, in fact you are encouraged to copy. Whatever somebody else is doing, you do it. So we are encouraged to copy, but we have to write. After copying we have to write. So at least that we have to do. So after copying somebody, we have to practice in our life. So thank you very much, Balram, for a very thoughtful, class today. Bit heavy, wasn't it, for his age? It was with no stories, no joke. Next time tell some stories. Don't be so. don't heavy like Balram. So thank you very much, Balram. Now we're going to go for the kirtan now, and after the kirtan we have a celebration of birthday. So we like parties and we need so many birthdays, so we can celebrate one birthday. So we have kirtan now, and after that we'll have a birthday party. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. You can all stand up now, and we have the kirtan now. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय, शिला प्रभुपाद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद इस डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरणार वृंद भक्ति विदान स्वामी शिला प्रभुपाद की, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की, नामाचार्य शिल हरिदास ठाकुर की। प्रेम से कहो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड श्री गिरि गोवर्धन की। श्री वृंदावन धाम की, श्री नवदीप मायापुर धाम की, पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की, गंगा माई की, जमुना माई की, भक्ति देवी की, तुलसी महारानी की, कलियुग पावन श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की, बृहत मृदंग ट्रांसिनेटल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की, ट्रांसिनेटल प्रसादम डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Raise your hand.
नामस्ते नरसिंहाय प्रह्लादाय प्रहलाद दाहिने हिरण्याकाशी पूर्वक्षः शीलातङ्कः नकालाय इतो न सिंहो परतो न सिंह यतो यतो यामि ततो न सिंह बाहे नरसिंहो हृदये नरसिंहो नरसिंहपदिं शरणं प्रपदे तव करकमलवरे नाकाम् अद्भुत श्रृंगार दलिता हिरण्यकशिपु तनुभृंगा केशवधृता नरहरि रूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे तव कर कमलवरे नाकार अद्भुत श्रृंगार दलिता हिरण्यकशिपु तनुभृंगा केशवधृता नरहरि रूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय नरसिंहदेव नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद नित्य गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौरा हरि बोल श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की
Prasade Govinde Nama Brahmani Vishnave Shvapa Punya Vidam Lajan Vishwasona Vijayate Shalila Vityajan Joindra Dahika Jive fele wishaya sakade Taramati jivati Lope maya siddhamati Take
जेता सत कठिन संसारे
Take jeta katan sasasase Krishna Barodhiramai Kore bale jefajai Saprasada medilopai Say Nam Vittappa,
Say Nam Riddhappa,
Radha Krishna Kuraka.
Radha Krishna, Prema Dako Chaitanya Nitai.
Prema, I remember. Prema Radha Krishna Nitai. Janama Janatai. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadagada Shri Vasate Gaura Bhaktavinda
Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhaktarinda.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Ma Prasadam Ki.
Hare Krishna. So today we're going to celebrate a very special birthday of our Vihan Prabhu. Ahan. He has to change his name. Or Ahan. Ahan is very nicely dressed today, like a birthday man. How old are you, Ahan, today? 10. So are you happy being 10? Yeah. So Ahan, you all know, he sings very nice Narsimha prayers, and he has his partner Vihan, and he's building up his team now. And these are our, Ubarte Kalakar, the rising stars. They have taken up Krishna consciousness so nicely. And so as a parent, parents' main duty is that they look after the children very nicely, provide them nice education, give them nice comfortable living, and give them, all the necessities of their life. But according to our Shastra, the most important thing that a parent's duty is to give them spiritual knowledge, give them all the facilities so they become spiritually very strong. So at the end of the life, when the children leave their body from this world, they never come back again. This is their prime duty. According to Shastra, this is what is required. If this duty cannot be fulfilled by parent, then that parent actually has no kind of right to become a parent. So our parent, both Vivek Prabhu and Chanchal Mataji, the father and mother of Ahan, they are doing this duty so nicely. They are giving all the good facilities for him to grow very nicely, and all the facilities to become a very wonderful devotee. And one of the quality probably you all know, Ahan likes to ask questions. Nowadays he's not asking questions because most of his questions are answered. Or maybe he's, just waiting the right time to ask those questions. So Ahan beta, wish you a very happy birthday. Enjoy your 10th birthday and enjoy while you are child. When we are child, we all want to grow up. When you all grow up, we want to become child again. So enjoy while you can as a child. After that, our age, it's not a good place. Sorry to give you bad news. So let's bless Ahan, by chanting a very one Hare Krishna Maha Mantra from the core of our heart with the blessings that Krishna give him all the blessings to become a very wonderful and nice devotee in this lifetime and have a very successful life ahead. And once he leaves this world, he goes back home, back to Godhead, and never come back again to this material world again. He eternally becomes happy in the association of Krishna. So we're going to sing one Hare Krishna tune in a happy birthday tune. And at the end, we are going to say, you never take a birth again. It's not a curse, it's a blessings. People sometimes, why are you singing like that, okay? So first, let's just chant one round of one Hare Krishna Maha Mantra very nicely from the core of our heart. Sing along with me. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna to you, Hare Krishna to you, Hare Krishna dear Rahan, Hare Krishna to you. May you never take birth again, may you never take birth again, may you never take birth again. Hare Krishna to you. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Sri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai. Now the most sweet part. Now, Ahan, would you like to speak something? You to give say thank you? Yes.
जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवास सदि गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Thanks for being here at this temple.
Thanks everyone for coming, and it's good to see you, all of you, and being part of this Hare Krishna movement. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. So, please give all blessings to Ahan and give all the congratulations to Chanchal Mataji and Vivek Prabhu. They brought up Ahan so nicely in this world. So give a big Hari Bol to all of them. The great supporters are center, very much. Thank you, yes, very much. Hare Krishna. So we are ready for Prasadam. We can take Prasadam upstairs. Just before you leave, my mother, she is leaving for India next Thursday. So this is her last Sunday. Then she'll be gone for some time before she comes back again. So thank you very much everyone for being so supportive of her. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.